I keep trying to tell you people, that we do pretty good on religious matters. We assume that most people can have their own religion or no religion. That's not the government's business. Leave them alone. But too often they'll drift over and say, well, yeah, but we got to protect them against themselves because they might go out and do the wrong things. Yeah, like the government is really going to be our protector. In this society, I believe the government's not the parent. The parents are the parents and have responsibility for their children. That's what I think is most important if we're going to understand this. But when you apply this principle to foreign policy, you have to conclude that the foreign policy that the founders tried to give us is rather remarkable. And you can summarize it by saying we ought to mind our own business. Just stay out of the affairs of other countries. Their internal affairs are their internal affairs. Their civil wars are their civil wars. But the question I get so often is, okay, but what about the humanitarian need to take care of people? What are you going to do now that the people are being gassed in Syria? Doesn't that change everything? I know it doesn't, and there's a lot of reasons for it. I said, we have responsibility for ourselves, and when we're perfect, maybe we can toot our own horn, but we're far from perfect. What about the humanitarian suffering that we as a people and our government has caused? Madeleine Albright admitted 500,000 children and innocent victims occurred during the bombings of the 1980s. That we constantly did this bombing in the 1990s. And this bombing, and sanctions killed people. And her answer was, yes, I agree, but sometimes you have to pay the price. That's the price we have to pay. So we need to clean that attitude out and to think that if we say, no, we don't want to send bombs, we want to send food, you have to realize, yes, you can send food, you can voluntarily do it, you can join their armies, you can do whatever you want, but if you extract it, you're forced to take it from one America and send it to another country, it's going to be another tool of war. Yes, there are a lot of problems up there, but think of the problems that occurred in the Soviet system and all the other countries, and we totally ignored it. So we need to apply those same principles of personal liberties, minding our own business. Let every country have self-determination. Yeah, that wouldn't solve all the problems, but maybe they solve them regionally. I got into a lot of trouble in the presidential campaign because I spoke out with a very, very extreme viewpoint on foreign policy. I said that we ought to have a foreign policy based on the golden rule. What? I said we shouldn't do anything to any other country that we don't want to have them do to us. And guess what? I got plenty of booing for that. I mean, outright booing. How sinful that could be if you would accept this unchristian principle of asking us to run our foreign policy as if it's a golden rule.